Okay, here's our video today on the arithmetic sequence on the TI-84. And I'm using the TI-84 Plus CE, which I recommend. But if you don't have the Plus CE, well, then you can just use the regular TI-84. Should do just as well. Anyway, it's arithmetic. Some people say arithmetic, but it's not arithmetic. Arithmetic is a noun. So when you're talking about doing arithmetic, that's a noun. You're doing arithmetic, like adding and subtracting and so forth. But when you're talking about a sequence, it's an adjective, right? It's what type of sequence? Well, it's an arithmetic sequence. So that's the reason why you might hear arithmetic. So we'll do explicit and we'll do recursive on this video. So we'll start with explicit. Explicit. So explicit is when we're trying to find the nth term, some term down the line, right? So let's just make a sequence. Let's say we had 7, we had 12, we had 17, we had 22, ... So we know that a subscript 1, the first term is 7. Second term, a subscript 2, is 12. The third term, 17. The fourth term is 22. And we know just by looking at it that the fifth term will be 27 because we know the difference is 5. So we know that the fifth term will be 27. But let's say we want to find some term all the way down the road. Let's say we want to find the 80th term. So we can keep doing that until we get to the 80th term, right? We could just keep adding. Or we can do it using a formula, or we can use our calculator, and we'll do both. So let's just write what the formula is. So we're trying to find, just in general, the nth term. That's going to be, we have to have the first term, right? And then we're going to plus it by n minus 1 times d. This is just a general formula. So let's use it for the 80th term. We want to find the 80th term. We know that the first term is 7. Since we're trying to find the 80th term, we're going to do 80 minus 1, and the difference is 5. So all you have to do is just use your number 2 Ticonderoga, or whatever writing device you use. Plug this in, and you should get that the 80th term is 402. Now we could find any term using this formula, but we can also do it on the calculator. So let's do it on the calculator, and let's hope we get 402. So on the calculator, we're going to hit the second button, and we're going to hit the stat button. So second, then the stat button. And then we're going to hit the ops button, OPS, and then we're going to hit 5. 5 is sequence. So hit second stat, ops 5, and you should come up to this screen. So let's get that screen. So there's the ops button. There's 5, sequence, and you hit that. And this is what you should get. So it has the expression on top. So 7, remember, is the first term. Well, it's not 79 minus 1 because we're trying to find the 80th term. So let's fix that. Fix that right there. Remember, it's the 80th term we're trying to find. So we're doing 80 minus 1. And of course, we will get 79 from that. So we plug all this in. X is our variable. And we're just trying to find the 80th term. So the start is 80. The end is 80. I mean, you could put the start of any term you want. You could put, if you want to put it from 1 to 80, it'll give you all the terms all the way to 80. But we just want to know the 80th term. So then you go over here and it's paste. Just hit enter. You got to hit enter twice, and you'll see that your answer is 402. And there it is, 402. So you can use this for any term. Just plug it in, any term you want. So now let's look at recursive. Let's use the calculator for that, and we'll use the formula. Get our pen ready. We'll use white. So recursive is when you want to find the next term based on the previous term. So it's not to find the 80th term. For example, let's say we had that the first term was 8. and we know that the difference is 3. Well, we know that the first term is 8, and we know the second term, we just add 3, because that's the difference. So the second term should be 11, and we can keep going this way. If we want to express this, we'll say that the first term equals 8, and how do we know? Because it was given to us. This is how you should write it. And the second term, well, we'll know the second term, we're going to use the general formula. The general formula for the second term is going to be a n minus 1 plus 3, because 3 is the difference. And what is that? That'll be a1, right? Because the second term is 2 minus 1. So let's write that. It'll be 2 minus 1, because we're trying to find the second term, plus 3. We'll use an arrow over here. So now it's going to be a1 plus 3, and we know that the first term was 8. So it'll be 8 plus 3, and we have 11. So let's say, for example, now we want to find the third term. Of course, we're just adding 3 each time, but this is how we can write out the statement. So the third term will be a n minus 1 plus 3. We're trying to find the third term, so it's a3 minus 1 plus 3. That'll give us the second term plus 3, because 3 minus 1 is 2. We know the second term is 11, so it's 11 plus 3. And we know now that a3, what do you think it is? 14, right? And so on and so on. That's what recursive means. We get an answer based on the previous answer. So let's do that on the calculator. And before we do the recursive formula, press the mode button on your calculator. It's right next to second to the right. If you hit the mode button, you want to make sure that you're in sequence when you're doing these. So over here, let's just change it to red over here. As you can see, I scroll down to function, and over here is the sequence. It's not showing on the picture, and it should be blinking. Just press enter. And once you press enter, you now have it programmed. So make sure you're in that sequence before you do this for the recursive. All right. Now, after you hit enter, I want you to hit y equals, which is on top of second. Y equals. Hit that button. And you're going to get something like this. Let's just say, let's give a question first. Let's say that you know that a, the first term, is 8 and the difference is 3. So over here, you see these u's, and that's part of the recursive. So what you want to do is you want to get this u in here first. The first thing you want to do. So again, with the recursive formula, let me just write out what the recursive formula looks like for this. So we know that a1 is 1. So the nth term, any term we're trying to get here, is going to be a n minus 1 plus 3. That's the general formula right over here. And like we did before. So, but we need a u. We need this u for recursive just for the calculator. To get u, you're going to press second 7. So to get this u here, scroll down here, press second 7, and this u will pop up. Try it out. Then do parentheses n minus 1, and then plus 3. We're trying to make this right here. And the reason I put 8 is the first term. So put that in, plug that in. Again, second 7 to get u. Now after you do that, you're going to press second graph. And it'll give you all the possibilities of what term you're looking for. Second graph. So let's write that down here. Second graph. And this should pop up. So you can see right here, the first term, a1, is 8. The second term is 11. Third term is 14, and so on, right? You get all these terms, and you can keep scrolling to find what term you're looking for. So that's when you want to do recursive. So let's try another one. Let's say that you were given that a1 equals 15. And here is the formula. It says an equals negative 3 an minus 1 plus 50. right? What would be the fourth term? How would you get the third term, or any term? Well, let's just make it the third term. Why not? How would you get the third term? Well, you can do this on paper with your number 2 pencil, or you can do it on the calculator. So try that. Pause the tape, try to do it on the calculator, follow the steps, see what you get. And you should be able to do this on paper also. So if you say like the first term again is 15, and then we have this formula here, we're saying negative 3 an minus 1 plus 50. We know that the first term is 15 because it's given. And the second term is going to be negative 3 times a2 minus 1, subscript 2 minus 1, plus 50. Just doing it recursively. So it'll be negative 3 times what a1 was, plus 50, which will be negative 3. We know that a1 is 15, plus 50. Ran out of room there. We'll just put it over here, a2. So a2 will be 3 times 15, which is negative 45, plus 50. And we know that a2 is 5. So now for a3, we know it's negative 3, a3 minus 1 subscript, plus 50. So that's going to be negative 3, and 3 minus 1 is 2, so it'll be the second term, plus 50. Of course, the calculator is going to do this just like that for you. And put a little line there. So now we have negative 3, and the second term was 5. So it's going to be negative 15 plus 50. And we now know that a3 is 35. So let's see if the calculator gives us that. What'd you get? And again, make sure you can do it both ways, on paper and with the calculator. Rewind if you need to. So when you got to this part over here, what you should have put in, and we'll put it in now, use the pen to put it in. So over here, let's cross this out. It'll be negative 3. We got to put negative 3, remember. And then we got to put second 7, remember. Second 7, because we want to get that u, and the u would appear. And then we put the parentheses here. And the difference was plus 50. Don't forget to put the plus. Some people forget the plus. And the first term was 15. If you plug that in, what do you think you do next? So if you pressed second graph, this is what comes up, and you can see the first term was 15, which we were given. The second term was 5, which we worked out. And the third term was 35, and you see all the other terms there. So that's recursive. So we did the explicit and the recursive. We worked it out on paper, and we did it on the calculator. All right, that's our video today.